Hey everyone, welcome back to our Power Tips. Today we're going to talk about Power FX, what it is, and some new things we've been reading in the release notes that are coming soon and wanted to give some of our thoughts about them. So first, Heidi, why don't you tell us about these new features?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about two really cool new features that we saw in the release notes. One of them has been in the older release notes, and that is about enabling PowerFX in Dataverse tables. Woo. The other one is in the new release notes, and that is enabling PowerFX in your Dataverse business rules.
So the real question is, what is Power FX, right? I know we're seeing this a lot in all of the Power Apps release notes, and this was released, I guess, end of last year, right? And so this language we've been kind of using in the Power Apps formula bar for a while, and it's just our kind of low code language to use for all kinds of different functions, and it's supposed to be similar to writing Excel formulas. I think it's a little bit harder than that. And, it's just still like with any language, we have to learn kind of the syntax and how things need to be arranged. But the idea is this started in Power Apps, and now we're seeing this in Canvas Power Apps, right? And now we're seeing that extend in many other areas. So we're seeing it in both of these new features we talked about, but you're also seeing it in like the command bar editor, which is really cool. I can add new buttons and use Power FX to determine what those buttons do, determine when they appear, and things like that. So I think we're going to continue to see this more and more places.
Awesome. I agree that it's not quite the same as Excel formulas because I can make Excel do a lot of cool things, and I can't directly translate those skills yet to Power Apps.
Exactly.
All right, awesome. So thank you for the review and update of what PowerFX is. And the two things that we wanted to talk about are here. So first is this new formula column type, which is a really cool way of making a really simple calculated field. So the release notes give us the screenshot that you see on the right here. And it looks really intuitive, right? I'm creating a new column called total price. I'm using a type of formula and I'm writing an expression just using simple terms, right? Price times quantity. I don't need schema names. I don't need anything fancy there. I just write that and click create. This looks really cool to me, and I was really excited to test it out because it's listed as public preview for July. It's July. It's the end of July. But sadly, I couldn't find it. And I verified that my demo environment had all of the new updates turned on. It had preview features turned on, but I still couldn't find it. I'm curious if I did something wrong or if it's just not there yet. And maybe it shows up tomorrow or Sunday while it's still July. No general availability listed on the release notes. So we're not sure when this will hit everywhere. But I mean, this looks really cool to me. I really wanted to try it out. Kylie, what did you think about this one?
I have a lot of questions. I think it's very interesting that this has a type of formula, right? So that's different from our calculated fields, right? That have a type of, whole number or whatever, and then you choose that it's a calculation, but this has a type of formula. So I'm very curious what that means for how it's going to work with other fields and things like that. And I'm also curious, like, what can we actually do with these? Excuse me. I'm curious what we can actually do with these because like this example we're showing, that would have been just as easy with a calculated field. So what's the benefit of it being a formula field? And how complex can these formulas be to really make it worth using instead of a calculated field? Or is there something totally different that I'm missing about what this is and why it's valuable? That's kind of where my confusion is coming from right now.
Yeah, I would hope and expect this to be able to handle comprehensive expressions, which would differentiate it from a calculated field. Their example is simple, and you're right, you could make this with a calculated field, but I'm using natural language in my expression writing here, which is
Right.
different, but I don't know if that's different enough to make this worthwhile if all it is giving you a different way of accomplishing the same thing you can do with calculated fields. So hopefully
Agreed.
they could be super complicated expressions. But you do
Yeah.
bring up a good point. Are there any limitations if you have a field type of formula? Because we know there are certain column types in Dataverse that don't support other features, like the choices field. You can't create a business rule off of it. Do you have something similar with something like this? I'd love to have been able to test it out live here, but we can't because it's not
Same,
there.
yeah, same with like I can't use a calculated field to trigger a flow or a workflow or a plugin, right? Like some of those
Mhm.
things, am I going to have that same limitation with my formula field? But also one limitation of calculated fields. I guess I'm trying to think about some business rules we can't reference data in another table.
Right.
Um, I guess with calculated fields, I can. So I wonder how that works with our formula. I'm also curious when these calculate, right? Because our roll up fields, those calculate every 12 hours, right? Something like that. Our calculated fields calculate immediately when when whatever data point is modified.
Mhm.
But when do these calculate? Are we going to have any timing issues?
Good
I'm just
question.
made of questions.
That's good. These are great questions and things we should all be asking and testing out once the
Yes,
public preview is live.
yes.
All right, well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about something we have very little information about and no screenshots yet. And this just came out in the latest release wave notes. And it's about business rules, which is exciting because business rules have been around since what, 2013 version of Dynamics?
A long time.
I think.
Yes.
And they haven't changed. They've been the same. They've had the same interface, they've had the same functionality. There have been no new ways to use business rules until September 2022, it looks like. So this is making business rules low code, right? They've always been no code. So by enabling PowerFX in your formulas, we'll be able to do more. I don't know what, but we'll be able to do more by using this low code approach. So I'm thinking of these as like advanced business rules, which sounds cool. No screenshots, no details beyond this information in the release notes. So public preview of that is September and general availability is listed for November. What about these, Kylie? Do you have more questions?
I have questions about everything, but I think here, I think on the surface, there's a lot of value here, right? Because even the simple PowerFX example we saw for formulas, that would be really valuable in business rules because we can't do any of that right now, right?
Mhm.
If we wanted to do some math on the form right now, that would need JavaScript or plug in something else, right? But if we can do that in business rules, I think that could be really powerful. My same questions are going to be around really what are our limitations, what can we do, and can we reference any related data, because that's something I've been recently trying to create some business rules and struggling with that, trying to access data from a related record, right? That I think that's something that would be really valuable. And I guess we also have the ability to run business rules on the entity that creates like a plugin. So I think the combination of using PowerFX with that and then an entity or table level business rules, I think that could be really powerful. What are you thinking about?
I also have a lot of questions too. So if you could query related tables using PowerFX and Business Rule, that alone would make this worth it. That would be awesome. Because just like you, I've bumped up against that limitation too. I've really wanted it to be there, but it's not. And again, it's just there's not enough information here to really know what this is going to look like. It sounds great. I mean, it could be anything, right? Like what are we going to be using PowerFX for? Is that in the conditional? Can we have like a little more power over our conditional here? Or is that going to be kind of the little action steps and things that you could take? Which part is having PowerFX formulas? All of it?
Oh,
Some of it?
right. Or is it a new PowerFX like step we have to add in there?
Yeah, who knows? We'll
Interesting.
find out in September.
You know
I
what would
hope.
also be cool is if we could use this to like filter our lookups, right? Filter a lookup or filter an option set. That would be
Hmm.
really cool.
Yeah.
Advanced kind of form logic. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to try this out. I feel like the previous feature we were talking about, the formula columns, I haven't seen the value in that yet. I know it's cool, but I don't know what the value is. With this one, I'm like, I know this will be valuable. I just really want to try it out.
Yeah, like how valuable.
Right.
Well, that's all the thoughts I had about these two things in Power FX. Any other thoughts you want to leave our wonderful viewers with?
I don't think so. I'm just excited to try these out, and hopefully you guys are too. And we'd love to hear what your thoughts are on these features or what you're hoping to see. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, talk to us in the comments below, or reach out to us on social media. And, thank you for listening in, and we'll be back soon with more power tips.